Here's a question people around the world are asking. How did militants manage to hit a US base in Jordan? What was America's defense system doing when a drone struck Tower 22, killing 3 American soldiers and injuring at least 40 others? Now, various narratives have emerged a day after that attack, and we will go through them one by one tonight. And we start off with Tower 22. There is a lot of curiosity around this base itself, much of which stems from the peculiar name. Now, this is where Tower 22 is on the map, in a border region of Jordan, very close to Iraq and Syria. Now, what were American troops doing at Tower 22? There is very little public information on what really happens in Tower 22. Reports claim that Tower 22 houses a small U.S. logistics outpost. At least 350 U.S. Army and Air Force commandos are stationed there. And what is their task? Again, no clear information. Reports saying the troops at Tower 22 help fight ISIS. The outpost also serving as a supply hub for U.S. garrison of Al-Tanf, which is across the border in Syria. And what kind of weapons has the U.S. deployed at Tower 22? We don't know. What kind of air defenses does it have at Tower 22? Again, no public information. Whatever the nature of the air defense be, one thing is clear. On the morning of 29th, the system failed. An enemy drone infiltrated Tower 22. It hit the quarters of the U.S. troops. 3 soldiers died. At least 40 others were injured. Some suffered brain trauma, some minor cuts. At least 8 soldiers had to be airlifted out of Jordan for treatment. So what exactly happened that night? Why were the troops caught off guard? Explanation number 1 being the timing of the attack itself. Around the time that the enemy drone was approaching, there was an American drone in the nearby skies, and this drone was returning to the base following a mission. One defense official told a news channel that the auto-response feature of the base's air defense system was turned off. And why is that? So that the American drone is not shot down. At one point, the enemy drone started following the American drone as it approached Tower 22. Americans still don't know whether their drone was actually followed intentionally, or was it a coincidence? The Wall Street Journal, meanwhile, is reporting that there was confusion when the enemy drone was flying towards the airbase. Troops at Tower 22 could not tell with certainty whether or not the incoming drone was hostile, and that is how the enemy drone got an easy pass and went on to kill the 3 soldiers. The Pentagon has revealed that all the 3 soldiers were Army reservists from Georgia. William Jerome Rivers was 46 years old, Kennedy Layden Sanders, all of 24, and Breonna Alexandria was 23. We are being told that the enemy drone that killed these soldiers was flying very low and also very slow, which is also why the drone went undetected for the longest time. There is no doubt that this was a massive security lapse. The Pentagon saying it is investigating what happened and whether human error contributed to the failure to stop the enemy drone, whether it was the machines that failed or the soldiers responsible. Either way, at the end of the day, what happened at Tower 22 exposes the loopholes in the American defense system. Time now for our segment Gravitas Snapshot, where we discuss public figures who are making headlines. And tonight we are focusing on Hemant Soren, the Chief Minister of Jharkhand and a man in trouble. On the 27th of January, the Enforcement Directorate issued a communication asking Soren to join the investigation against him in a money laundering case. But Soren decided to skip the ED summons. And so on Monday, a team of ED officials arrived at his official residence. However, he was not at his house. He had gone missing. That's right. A chief minister went missing. Where did he go? What really happened? Well, reports say he left for an undisclosed location immediately after the ED summons. He was untraceable for over 24 hours. He was last seen in Delhi on Sunday night. But when the ED officials reached his Delhi residence, he was again not to be found. The agency seized 36 lakh rupees in cash and a BMW car which belonged to him. But Soren was not to be found. Not in Ranchi, neither his Delhi residence, nor at the Jharkhand Bhavan in New Delhi. Meanwhile, a chartered plane on which he flew to Delhi from Ranchi remained parked at the airport. And as the news spread, the BJP claimed that the Chief Minister was on the run. It even put out an ad seeking information about Hemant Soren, along with the cash prize of 11,000 rupees for credible information. It was only on Tuesday afternoon that Soren reached Jharkhand's capital, Ranchi. After officials failed to locate him for nearly 30 hours, he chaired a closed-door meeting with the MLAs and the ministers of the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha-led ruling alliance. Soren's wife, Kalpana Soren, was also present at the meeting, amid a strong buzz that she could take over the reins of the government if he were to be arrested. So why did he disappear for this long? Well, his team says he went to New Delhi for legal consultations. He apparently met an advocate in New Delhi and may now approach the court to seek protection against coercive action. Now, whatever be the case, this entire episode does not make for good optics, to say the least. Hemant Soren is known as a politician who is adept at handling the game of nerves. Also, if he was indeed innocent, he did not have to disappear in the first place. And we will have to wait and watch how the story impacts his political fortunes. And like I mentioned, the big question remains, where were the Chinese ships? Why did they not come to the help of the Pakistani sailors? On the other hand, by the way, they have tall defense technology claims. Before I go further, here's a backgrounder. Just look at the timing of these developments. The fact of the matter is, the 21st century is becoming the age of the Navy. For centuries, oceans have dictated geopolitics, but after a period of relative calm, the world has once again entered a period of prolonged conflict. And oceans are back at the heart of these conflicts. Just have a look at the map of the world. The red dots blinking on your screen are regions of the world witnessing ongoing conflict. From the crisis unfolding in the Red Sea, to the territorial disputes in the South China Sea, from the war in Ukraine threatening a contest for the Black Sea, to the war for global domination between the US and China in the Pacific. Today, in the age of a growing global war, a country's naval might is everything. Why are we talking about this today? It's because China is working on a secret new technology for its warship. That's right. And the details of this new technology are so chilling, it's bound to spook the US. And why are we talking about this today again? Well, it's because China is working on a secret new technology for its warship. The details, in fact, being that China's next-gen Fujian warship is equipped with an advanced electromagnetic aircraft. Scientists have revealed more details about it. You see, the Fujian aircraft carrier has an all-in-one mast, a technology that they say will have a big impact on the future of warfare. And comparisons with the US warships, the introduction of this new tech in the Chinese warship could give it an edge over USS Gerald R Ford. And here I must note the US Navy's newest warship is bigger than the Fujian and nuclear-powered. Fujian relies on conventional power, but the mass on the Chinese warship, the much-talked-about electromagnetic plane catapults, has one less launch track than the USS Gerald R Ford. It's the only other warship in the world that has the technology. Now let's just break it down for you. The antennas on the Fujian, you cannot see them. They are enclosed in a grey composite material. They call it the multifunctional integrated electronic mast. Modern warship masts house antennas. They have three main functions: radar, electronic surveillance, electromagnetic suppression. This means that the antennas are of different shapes. And China, well, it has progressed to second generation of electromagnetic integration technology. It means one single antenna does multiple jobs: radar scanning, intercepting encrypted communication, also launching electronic warfare. What kind of electronic warfare? Jamming and suppression. And how exactly does it do that? By surveying electromagnetic space around the ship and identifying high-threat targets. The system then adjusts the antennas in a way that it can intercept signals with high precision. And after analysis, a suppression signal is generated by the computer that is then transmitted to the antenna, which then emits electromagnetic waves to form highly focused beams. And then the target is suppressed. That is the function of this new tech on Chinese warships. It has substantial implications for maritime security, by the way. It is being described as a revolutionary system. Now, you may ask, what makes this different from the one in American warships on the USS Gerald R Ford? The antennas gather signal, which are then synthesized and processed by a computer. They use first generation of electromagnetic sensor integration technology. These antennas are exposed to the elements, rain, sunshine, wind, storms. That makes it vulnerable to weathering, which could also affect its performance. The traditional mast configuration is also reportedly detrimental to electromagnetic stealth. In simple words, this would make the ship visible to enemy weapon systems, even from a distance. The Chinese warship, with its new and advanced mast technology, would not have to worry about that. The details have been unveiled in a paper by scientists from the Nanjiang Research Institute of Electronics Technology. They were also involved in developing this technology, and they believe that this technology will have a significant impact on warfare in the future. But the Americans can probably breathe easy because the Chinese are yet to overcome challenges when it comes to introducing this technology. There are some practical difficulties in achieving this goal. For example, how will the system actually distinguish between radar signals and reflections of ship hulls? Also, 2 decades ago, a secret concealed antenna was used in a US Navy ship. It was an experiment, but it was deemed too expensive, also unnecessary. The Chinese certainly don't see it as unnecessary. And if the Chinese are on their way to introducing this new technology, can the Americans actually afford to lag behind?